Hey guys, welcome to the first ever Drift Jam competition. This one was held in Shannonville. My name is Jacob of PissNet Productions. I'll be taking you through the competition, giving you my commentary and my notes. So let's just get right into it. This is the track layout for Shannonville. So what you will see is the gentlemen staging up near the top and then working their way down. So where you see the first red line is our staging line. They will then cruise along that red path and then feint initiation at that that second red line, working their way through the S's, and then they'll be shutting it down at the end of the S's. Now, this competition is going to be judged mostly on style. We don't have any solid clipping points, but almost everybody that is running this competition today has been pretty much familiarized with the track or run the track on other occasions, so they should know where they need to be. Follow driver, as always, using the first driver is a moving clipping point. The big points for this competition are going to be on style as opposed to the line. So this is an entry-level competition. We have some guys here that run as high up as Formula Drift Pro 2. We get guys in DMCC. We also have some grassroots guys. We've got a few guys out here that's their first competition as well. So let's move right into the competition. In our first bracket, what you are going to see is Josiah Fallaise versus Filip Kedzierski. Man, I'm not even doing it. Filip, you're a buddy of mine, and don't get mad at me that I don't know your last name. So let's get right into that battle. So as you can see, we've got all of the guys staging up in the top corner of the track, and we'll be sending them here shortly. So we see right off the feint initiation, Joel throwing it in pretty hard. Filip leaving a bit of a gap as Joel starts to power through in that infinity. Filip doing his best to kind of keep up, but we see some straightening. Joel laying down a solid line, although Filip is now getting into the pocket. He's really getting into the door. But that being said, you can see he's having some troubles trying to keep up with Joel, and ultimately straightens out on our wall corner, and Joel takes off. As you can see here on our replay, can see how Joel really holds tight and then starts to push out towards the wall where Filip just can't keep that angle. Now we're going to be switching things up and having Filip in the lead. Nice big feint initiation. Joel staying back a little bit. We're going to see Filip here. This is where you see him really shine, is in the lead position. You can see throwing out to that corner, whereas Joel keeping a proximity, although he knows that Filip straightened out in his follow run, so he doesn't have to go too hard, but still keeping a very active chase. Now you can see Filip in that Silvia really starting to lay it down, and Joel finishes things off. As you can see here in our replay, once again, Filip really a little hesitant going into that wall corner. I think most people are. Last thing you want to do is mangle your car up into that, but ultimately Joel finishing things off. Our second round is Pat Sear versus Bryson Cook. So we're seeing Bryson in the lead position there, throwing it in hard. Pat keeping a bit of a distance, although Pat Sear from Serious Garage Works has a pretty storied past for drifting. So there you can see him starting to reel things in, getting that proximity that Pat is known for. Overshooting a little bit there, but making the correction in the follow position. And Bryson laying down a nice solid line for Pat to chase. To make a good chase run, you need a good lead run. Once again, we see here on the replay here, Bryson, nice smoke coming off the back end. Pat keeping a fair distance behind, but nice solid follow for Pat. Now we're seeing Pat in the lead for his lead run. Good feint initiation in. Bryson a little hesitant behind. Pat was pretty aggressive on that. Now we're seeing Pat kind of come through the S's nice and steady, a little bit shallower than I think the judges might have liked. Bryson doing his best to kind of keep up on Pat, but Pat cutting the corners a little bit, sacrificing a bit of angle for speed and starting to walk away from Bryson, and Pat will take the win on that one. You can see here a little bit more how we're seeing a little bit of a lack of angle from Pat, but getting things going and pushing things out as far as he possibly can. Next up, we've got Ryan Mott in the lead position with that, boasting all that 1J power. And we are showing Josh Gunby in the follow run. Josh struggling a little bit, as you can see there. But it looks like he's still trying to work out that car. He did great during the practice sessions. But you can see all that supercharged power. I want to say that's a Cadillac CTS-V engine, but I could be wrong there. But just having some issues. Looks like he's still going to work on his tandem and some of his timing. Looking like he's searching for grip there, but in our replay, you can really see the amount of smoke that he's throwing down. Now we're going to switch things up, reverse the order, and now we're getting Josh out in the lead. Now the initiation, there it is. There's the feint we're looking for. Ryan able to keep a fair distance behind while still maintaining as much angle as he needs to. Nice big dirt drop there. Not really what we're looking for, but always good for the crowd. We are not seeing a ton of angle out of Ryan, and another dirt drop there out of Josh. I think Ryan understands that Josh didn't have the greatest follow run, so he can keep his distance, but still a solid set of runs out there for the guys. We'll see here in the replay just how much smoke that we're seeing out of Josh. Ryan getting the proximity in there on the wall corner. That's where we're really going to see guys tighten things up, that's for sure. Next up, we are seeing Jordan Mcallum versus Frankie Becerra. Oh man, I know I've got that one wrong. Jordan is in the lead here for this one, and Frankie is going to be chasing. So we're going to wait for our feint initiation and see how things go. Now, no feint initiation there, just went straight into it. Not what the judges are looking for. And we see him go off. Frankie still follow him even into the dirt. Following the rules there. Follow position should be using that driver as a moving clipping point. And I think Frankie took that a little bit too seriously on that run. Now we're seeing the guys start to get into it. It's nice to see how they're kind of paralleling each other, although the gap is a little bit big, but still having fun, even though there was a hard dirt drop, and really he didn't need to finish that run off. But we can see here in the replay just how much speed these guys are getting in here. Frankie surging ahead, trying to get tight into the pocket. We're now going to swap things up and see Frankie in the lead run as they come off the line. The idea is they're supposed to stay nice and tight before the initiation point. The judges give them a lot of room to get things going. We're seeing here Frankie taking off a little bit. There's the nice big feint initiation that we're looking for. Frankie really laying things down now. You're able to see what he's able to do now that he's in the lead position. Nice quick rate to angle on that corner there, and just small adjustments we're seeing, but nice angle. Like that's really what the judges were looking for. Is nice big angle, nice big smoke there through our wall corner. As we go into our replay, you can really see how much smoke Frankie is going to be laying down, and ultimately that is what is going to help him move on into the next round. And moving right on into our next battle, we've got two OGs from Shannonville, Riley Sexsmith in the NV Auto, now Toyota FRS, and Brent Stratton coming around into our lead up. Brent Stratton really showing off those. We're gonna see here as he shows off those FDF angle kits. Riley Sexsmith, nice big feint initiation into it. Little bit shallow in through there. This is a Pro 2 car, so you know it's definitely of the highest caliber build. Brent still rocking it behind him. I know Brent had some fears going into this just because of the speed that Riley is able to put out, but I will say Brent keeping up there. Now we start to see that power come on from the crazy 2JZ underneath the hood of that NV Automotive FRS. Brent, though, really showing that he's able to keep up in a car with less than half the horsepower. Grassroots Performance helping him out a ton with that as well. Now we're swapping things up. We're seeing Brent Stratton in the lead with Riley Sexsmith following. This is where we're going to see that Mantis kit from FDF really come out, and Brent, you're able to see him shine in the lead position. A lot of the drivers today don't have a ton of time chasing, so what we're really looking for is those lead positions. Riley giving him a lot of room. Brent, nice. Oh, look at the angle on that. I know our camera lens is a little bit blurry. Riley really falling behind there. Not sure what happened. Brent able to kind of grip up and try and keep that lead there. Riley shooting those corners pretty wide. Now we're seeing, there it is. Now we're seeing Riley start to catch up, get that speed going, and now we're seeing him tuck really up nice and close to Brent. Riley did ultimately get the win for this one. We can see here in the replay just how much smoke that car plays out. But we did find out later on that Brent did destroy his third year. So now we are going to be moving on to Francis Gossellin and Paul Nigro. Francis in that Viper-powered S2000 and our Grassroots Performance 350Z behind him. Wow, throwing in real hard, and we get some contact. There it is. That is, that was some hard contact. I think that ends up putting, well, it's going to put a lot of pressure on that 350Z to really perform in the next round. We see them checking at each other. That's what drifting's all about. What do you guys want to do? They decide to still send it. You can see the clouds at that S2000 and the 350Z. We're going full 4x4 spec on that one. I think he realized that there was a bit more damage done than originally anticipated. Decides to pack it in, taking the grassy route home. And that S2000 just shredding off those tires in through our wall corner. We're going to see here on our replay really what that S2000 can do with that V10 Viper engine. Oh man, the thing sounds amazing. Really able to get some nice proximity on that wall. We saw him in practice really killing it. Now we are moving on to our next battle because we found out Paul was not able to keep things going. We've got Dylan Sharpe chasing behind Jonathan Attman. Dylan Sharpe, another extremely high caliber build. We're seeing a nice good feint initiation in there. Josh not throwing a ton of angle. Dylan keeping his distance. I think he realizes that Josh isn't maybe the most experienced driver. Still working things out though. Josh really throwing things down, working as hard as he possibly can through these corners. Dylan throwing a ton of smoke, but not a lot of proximity. Josh able to keep ahead of him. Dylan now getting on the throttle, trying to catch up a bit, but a little bit too late on that run. As you can see here on our replay, how things are really starting to play out. And we can see Dylan Sharpe, well, you can hear Dylan Sharpe really slamming that advanced clutch. Clutch kicking seems to be kind of his go-to on that run. Now we are swapping things up with Dylan in the lead. Absolutely beautiful car, that S15 2J powered, flying in there now. So we're waiting on that feint initiation. There it is. Oh, just a total power over. You can hear him just banging it off the rev limiter. And as he starts to come into that corner, we're starting to see how that horsepower is coming into play here and how that grip is coming into play as Dylan's really starting to pull away from Josh. That being said, though, Josh is keeping his own. He is following the angle as closely as possible. Is a little bit difficult kind of with that caliber build in front of you. You can see it with the smoke line. As we get into our replay, you can really tell, but huge shout out to, huge shout out there to Jonathan, not Josh. I apologize. For doing his absolute best out there, putting on an amazing show. Now we are moving on to a very, very exciting battle. We've got Kevin Morin and Josiah Fallaise. Kevin is in our lead position right now with Josiah behind him. Josiah, of course, the owner of FDF Fabrications, who has angle kits on a lot of the cars running today. So great to see everybody supporting that. Waiting on that feint initiation once again. There it is. Just a nice, quick, snappy one. Josiah seems to line things up, finding the door, trying to match that angle. And now we're going to see the battle start to unfold. Yeah, there it is. Josiah trying to keep the proximity, getting in there. I think we had a little bit of a contact. I'm not 100% sure. Fighting his way through the smoke. And, we had a big straighten as Kevin starts to take off there. Now we're going to see in the replay. Are we able to see if there was contact? No, not quite. Kevin really taking off, and Josiah with an unfortunate straighten. But Kevin really throwing that smoke down. Wow, that car has got a lot of grip in that. Now we're swapping things up. We're seeing Josiah in the lead with Kevin behind him. Josiah's car, absolute monster out there. Built the whole thing at his shop. Big smoky feint initiation with a bit of a dirt drop. A little bit of lens blur there. Kevin getting in real tight into the pocket. Josiah starting to, really quick rate to angle on that one. Really flexing that Mantis kit. And seeing a lot of nice tandem in there. A little bit of a straight in there from Kevin, but trying to keep it into the pocket. Nice, good proximity. And ultimately, I believe that, we're going to see here on the replay, but ultimately I believe that Josiah ended up taking the win on that one just due to the style and the line that he put down. We had a little bit of an off course there earlier on from Kevin. Okay, moving into our next battle is Pat Lacroix versus Silvio Dos Santos. Pat in the lead right now in that beige S chassis. Not sure what's happening there behind with Silvio. Ooh, having a rough run for sure. As we focus things on Pat. This guy is very well known in the area. That drift team is very well known in the area as well. Always comes out, always slays. Great to see them come out to the competitions as well as the open drifting days. Look at just a great solid lead run. It kind of sucked there that Silvio had some issues, but hey, it happens. We can see here in the replay just how buttery smooth that run was. Great proximity to the wall, not super close where you got to worry about killing the bumper, but we are now going to swap things up and see what Silvio can do in the lead. Beautiful car for Silvio. I love the livery on it, or livery, or however you pronounce it, but now going to see what Pat is able to do in the following position. That being said, probably already knows he doesn't need to do anything too crazy, just because Silvio had a bit of an issue there, so as long as he completes his run, he should be fine. Silvio just with a hard handbrake initiation. Didn't really see the feint that we're looking for. But now he's starting to pour on the smoke. We're starting to see those transitions. A little bit hesitant. I'm wondering if there was a mechanical issue with the car before he got into this. But there we go. Now we're starting to see it. Pat still able to kind of keep things together as he's following. And Silvio really laying down that smoke into the wall. Kind of curious what the cause was there. But now that we get into the replay, you're really able to see just how much power that car is putting out as he's flexing that horsepower, throwing it up nice and tight to the wall with that proximity. Okay, we're now moving on to our second set of rounds. This is Pat's here versus Ryan Mott. Pat in the lead there with that Greed AE86. Nice feint initiation. Wow, great job there by Ryan to kind of keep things nice and close. Pat starting to walk away a little bit now. Pat's really able to figure that car out. He's been driving it for a long time. He's run in a lot of different series and has a lot of experience, so I'm not surprised by that, but a solid run there. Ryan able to kind of keep a good proximity, couple car lengths out for this level of competition. I think that was an amazing follow run. Pat really though, we're not seeing a ton of horsepower out of that car. We're not seeing a lot of smoke, but able to keep it just sliding enough while keeping enough forward bite to keep things interesting. Now we swap things up. Ryan in the front with that Rogers Performance and a 1JZ VVTi under the hood. Great sound. Pretty much a stock engine, so he's told me, but able to really kill it with that car. Now we're going to see our initiation. Oh, nice. That was great. Right at the points that the judges are looking. And we're seeing Ryan really start to put things down now, though Pat able to keep that proximity. Ryan walking away a little bit, but Pat doesn't let him get too far out. Pat overshoots that corner just a touch. Ryan keeping a steady lead line, and now we see Pat cutting the corner to get that proximity. Wow, really in there tight now. Oh, Jesus, Pat getting in real tight, risking it all. Got to risk it for the biscuit, as Jared Deanda would say. Solid final corner by both of these guys, and ultimately Pat gets the win. Okay, moving right along, we've now got Dylan Sharpe versus Francis Gossellin. Francis in the lead in that V10 powered S2000. Dylan Sharpe behind him in that beautiful S15. It's almost like he doesn't throw it hard enough because it's not damaged enough, but we're seeing a good feint initiation there as he flicks it in by Francis. That V10 screaming under the hood. Dylan mirroring the angle as best he can, keeping a bit of a distance there. We are looking for a lot of style here at this event. Proximity definitely is nice, but as we can see here, Dylan keeping a bit of a distance, maybe more than he should have, but definitely mirroring the angle and staying fairly consistent. Whoa, real close to the wall on that one. Maybe that's why that S2000 doesn't have a bumper, is because of all those wall taps. But as you can see here, real tight on the inside, popping it, and that throws him way outside, causing him to get real close to the wall. When you see that dirt drop right before the wall, there's about a foot gap before they hit concrete, so keeping it real close there, Francis. Now we see Dylan out in the lead run. Huge power over initiation on that feint. It does look like Francis having some issues trying to mirror the angle. It looks like he's really chasing proximity over angle. May not be the best bet for this one. Real real stuttery behind there. Dylan, very predictable lead run. We saw him run it all day in practice. Now we're starting to see Francis get in tight, but ultimately I think it was a little bit too late. Ooh, a little bit of a dirt drop there. Not sure what happened. As we can see in the replay here, Dylan throwing down a very predictable lead run, and Francis now trying to get into it, trying to get that proximity, but just not able to, and getting a little bit straight there. In the end, Dylan ends up getting the win. Now moving on, we've got Josiah Fallaise, that's how I'm saying it, and Pat Lacroix. We're starting to see as they come in here, Pat with a lot of speed, Joel a little bit behind, Joel with a big initiation, Pat not so much. Now we're seeing them as they come through the S's. Pat looks like he's trying to run away from Joel on this one. Not a ton of angle, but Joel cutting things, trying to put down the best follow run that he's able to. Pat putting down a pretty solid lead run there, although we're seeing him cut a lot of corners, which is not what we're looking for. But ultimately, the replay kind of shows it here. He starts to get into it a little bit more as he's getting into the wall. But that G35 from JFP Automotive doing his best in the follow position. Beautiful wrap on there from Optimum Wraps. Now we're seeing things swap it up a little bit. Joel in the lead as we see the Frenchman following behind. Let's see this feint. There it is. Joel with a bit of a dirt drop, showing it off, flashing those colors, and we see a huge straighten there by Pat. It's going to not play well into his hand. Joel, great lead run here. Pat just still struggling to kind of get his bearings after kind of a tough initiation there. Joel, nice solid lead run, good proximity to the wall, and I think he shuts it down a little bit early there. Not sure if the judges are going to catch that one, but as you can see here in our replay, nice distance there. Joel in that JFP G35, throwing down a solid lead run. Ultimately, he gets the win, and we move on to Riley Sexsmith versus Frankie Becerra. Frankie really getting out front. Riley maybe missing a gear there. Not sure what's happening. Big dirt drop with Riley, spinning it out, leaving Frankie all alone up front, able to throw it down. This is kind of an upset. Obviously, Riley Sexsmith running Formula Drift Pro 2, bringing his Pro 2 car out here. Frankie throwing down a solid run. Big smoke, big angle. Look at how much that rear end sinks through that corner. Man, real soft suspension in the rear there. Frankie throwing down a lot of smoke. Way behind there. Not sure what happened on that run in particular. Now, a fun situation here. We were supposed to, we can see the replay, but a bit of an explanation on the next run. Frankie jumped the gun a little bit. He was supposed to be following Riley, but got so excited to go out there and battle Mr. Sexsmith that he ended up doing another lead run, which it is what it is. So he was supposed to be following on this one. I guess Riley, talking to him afterwards, said he tried to pass him, but Frankie decided, nope, not going to happen. Riley gives him lots of space there. Riley, I think, maybe using this time to figure out what's going on. Once again, Frankie should have been following on this one. I think the judges gave them a pass, but you can just watch Frankie throw down here. Riley in the background, slaying those tires. Just a good set of runs. Just kind of a shame that it happened this way. I don't know, maybe Riley using it as a bit of a redemption, although we see a huge dirt drop there in the corner of the screen. Riley always throwing down, a little bit of left foot braking through that corner, and you can see through the replay here, our camera is going to catch Riley with that dirt drop, and then Riley, if you watch that front tire, we see it slow down a little bit there as Riley's doing a bit of left foot braking through that wide corner. Now we swap things up with Riley in the lead, Frankie following, as they should have been on the last run, but hey, grassroots drifting, always a good time. No one's mad about this at all. Anytime we get to watch a bit more extra drifting, we're happy. Riley really wavering in there, throwing it in very late on that initiation, but really throwing down the smoke. Now Frankie keeping things going though, keeping it in tight. That hood flapping, there's got to be no metal left in that hood. We're seeing Riley start to slow down a little bit, and Riley shuts it down. Yep, there he goes. He's off into the pits. We actually did hear later on that he had some issues with fourth gear, And with Formula Drift St. Louis on the horizon, decides not to damage the car more than necessary, but you can see this car, just the amount of smoke. It looks like he tried to shift up into a higher gear and maybe had some issues, shuts it down, and we move on. Now, our final round here for our second set of brackets, Josiah versus Julien Corturtio. Julian getting a bye run into this round. Really throwing things down there in the follow position. You can see why I got that bye run. We just had an open lapping qualifying. He did very, very well out there and got that bye run. Julian in that Nissan 180SX, the 2J, making around 630 horsepower. Really great follow there. I didn't really talk too much about it, but as you can see here in our replay, Josiah laying down a lot of smoke. I heard afterwards that he knew Julian was going to be a tough go and decided just to put his foot down. Now we swap things out. We're going to see what Julian is able to do in the lead run. Josiah following. As Julian takes off. Wow, that is a quick car. Huge fan initiation. That is the style that they're looking for. Josiah whoa, Josiah and Julian both go off. Oh, that's going to be interesting how that one plays out. Julian going in real hard and fast. Josiah doing his best to follow him, but obviously that led to him going off. Now we're seeing Julian just kind of recoup the rest of the run. You can see the smoke that car lays down. 600 horsepower, making it look like a lot more, especially in that wall section. Really throwing that hard angle. Just doing a great job out there. Josiah following up behind him. And I believe Josiah ended up getting the win for that one just due to the big issue that we saw there from the lead driver. So Josiah ends up moving on into the next set of battles. And before we move on to our next set of battles, they did let Julien Corturtio get another solo run in there on his way back to the paddock. Really flexing out, showing what he can do here. Beautiful looking car, great smoke. This was the driver with the bye run. Did get knocked out by Josiah there, we learned, but just doing a little show for the crowd while everybody gets ready for the next set of rounds and the next set of battles, which is going to be Pat Cyr versus Joe Fallaise. Fallaise, I apologize once again. You can. Yeah, I'm still learning the names. This is my first time. Come on, give me a break. But let's get this battle started. We've got Joel out on the lead with Pat behind him as they come through their staging area. We can see Pat keeping her in there pretty tight, waiting for that feint initiation, which Joel's been throwing hard all day. And once again, great feint initiation, a little bit of a dirt drop. His rate to angle coming back out of that corner wasn't perfect, but not too bad. As they come through the S's, you can really see how Pat is kind of hunting him down, keeping the proximity there. Good matching angle on that corner especially. Straightened out pretty heavy there, but then tucks it in. And wow, Pat, great proximity through there. Spreading out a little bit, but definitely able to keep up with Joel. Now we swap things. Oh, no, before we swap it up, we get to our replay there. Sorry about that. And you can see Pat did get a bit of an off, a little bit of a straighten, but able to keep the proximity through most of the run and match that angle pretty well. So now we're swapping things up. We are going to have Pat in the lead and Joel coming up behind him. This is definitely a really well-fought battle here, and let's see how Pat wants to initiate on this one. Big E-brake, good feint. Wow, holding that for a really long time. Looks like it choked up Joel a fair bit there, just how long Pat was holding on to that. And it looks like Joel now is struggling to kind of keep up. Pat, very consistent through this. Like I said, not a ton of angle out of that little car. It could be that he is throwing a lot of angle, but anytime you're in a short wheelbase vehicle, very difficult to see the amount of angle. Lots of style out of him, though, and that is the main thing that they're looking for, is that style and impact. So Pat always throwing a lot of that into his runs. So you can see here through the replay, Pat really throwing things out. Joel fighting to get that proximity back, but ultimately Pat did get the win. Now moving on to our next battle, which is Dylan Sharpe leading and Josiah Fallaise following in behind him. So we're going to see Dylan throwing it in. He's been a big fan of that power in and feint initiation. And once again, there it is. Whoa, holding that for a real long time. Didn't choke up Josiah though. Josiah getting right in tight to that car. Not afraid to swap paint, even with that beautiful S15. Dylan taking a real short line in there, dropping that front wheel, dirt dropping like crazy. Now we see Dylan start to throw on the power, and Josiah right there with him. Not afraid to trade paint, not afraid at all. Matching that angle nice. Whoa, Dylan getting real close to the wall there. Like I said before, if you see that dirt drop, you know how close they are to the concrete, and I believe he actually touched that wall just a little bit. You might be able to see it here in the replay. And there it is. That big dirt drop, and kind of kicks him out a bit. Now we're swapping things up. Josiah in the lead, Dylan back. Dylan's been letting guys kind of get that initiation in. He's been keeping a distance through that section. Obviously know he can keep up. See, you can see there on the feint initiation, cuts it a little bit short to gain that proximity back. Josiah with another solid lead run, it looks like here. Really pouring on the smoke. Ooh, little bit of a dirt drop there. I thought I saw something fall off, but it does look like that might have choked Dylan up just a touch. But Josiah really keeping that distance now, throwing down the smoke, shredding those tires through that wall section, and Dylan a few car lengths back. And Josiah does get the win on this one. You can see here through the replay just how much smoke that car throws down. Wow, what a great line there. Dylan coming up right behind him. If Dylan was running a lead run there, it would have been absolutely amazing, but unfortunately, this time it came out to Josiah. Now, Josiah back into another battle here with Frankie. Frankie getting a big gap on him, but Josiah starts to reel it in. Master of the dirt drops today. I don't know if anybody's got as many dirt drops as Josiah did. Frankie throwing it through that hood flapping in the wind. Josiah doing everything he can right now. Frankie's really not throwing a lot of angle in. Not what we've seen earlier on in the battles. Josiah once again hunting him down, finding that pocket and driving it home. There it is. Perfect matching of the angle. Great follow run there by Josiah. And we can see here in the replay just how he likes to find that pocket and stay in it as long as he can. Now we are swapping things up. Josiah in the lead and Frankie following behind. Frankie real tight on his bumper. Big e-brake initiation, huge feint, and looks like Frankie kind of bobbled it there. Josiah a little bit as well, but he still kept it in drift. Now we're going to see Josiah really stretch the legs, and Frankie struggling to keep up as Josiah keeps that mad angle. Look at full lock on that, and then lines it up for the wall corner. Frankie trying to keep up, but just not able to, as Josiah ends up taking the win on this one as well. So that is going to pair up Josiah with Pat's here in the finals. And I believe Frankie is going to be walking home with third for that run. Great job done by Josiah. Consistent driving all day, really hitting the limits of the track the entire time. So here we go into our final set of runs. Pat in the lead, Josiah following behind. Let's see how Pat wants to enter this one. Big e-brake, flicks Josiah with another dirt drop. I think he's the dirt drop king. Really finding the edges of the track here. So Pat keeping things very consistent. This is a line that we've seen from him all day. Little bit of a cut on that one. Josiah keeping things steady behind him, giving him a bit of space. Pat obviously wanting to make sure he's got enough grip there to kind of walk away from Josiah. Not a ton of angle. One more dirt drop to finish off that set of runs. We'll see here in the replay how things are looking. Pat, not a ton of angle, but consistent. Like that is consistency is the name of the game right now for him. That seems to be his strategy. So we swap things up. Josiah in the lead, Pat chasing, and let's see how this one goes. And you see Pat real tight on him, not letting Josiah walk away. So there we go. Big initiation. Pat, not quite as much. Josiah looks like a bit of a straight in there. That's definitely going to knock up against him. And how's Pat looking there in the following? He's definitely holding his own. He's playing to his strengths with that little car. It's able to kind of snap back and forth. He knows where to cut the corners to keep that proximity. Throwing in that angle now, matching it, and wow, real tight door, wheel on door for that one, and that's going to win him some big points with the judges. So you can see here, Pat reels it in and then slams it right in next to him. Finds that pocket once again, slides into the DMs on Josiah, and it looks like we're going to a one more time. So Pat back out in the lead position. Josiah behind him. Judges couldn't make up their mind. What's going to happen this time? Huge long e-brake entry. Huge dirt drop by Josiah. And let's see how this plays out through the S's. Looks like Josiah's a little bit more hesitant now. I'm kind of curious why. Maybe it was just the way the initiation caught him, but throwing it super wide, and he's losing Pat a bit there. Pat looks like he's going for those technical runs, trying to maybe choke up the guy following him. And now we see Josiah getting into the throttle, trying to catch up, but a little bit too late, as it looks like Pat kind of straightened out there at the end. So once again, not sure where the judge's perspective is on that one. We can see Pat still in drift there now, and it looks like he straightens out right at the end. That could be at the finish line, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. Josiah now out in the lead position. Pat once again trailing real tight in behind him, probably the closest we've seen all day. Josiah with a big feint in, and Pat following, just trailing behind him, and now getting in tight to that door. So Josiah leading once again, just a solid lead run. See if we get another dirt drop out of Josiah before this run is over. Pat super tight, mirroring that angle, sucking into the door, and here it is once again. Pat with that proximity, showing his style in proximity. There's a lot of ways to show style when it comes to drifting, and the way Pat showed it today is by having it real close, and that's it. That's his style. His style is proximity. It's door to door, gets the fans excited, and ultimately Pat wins this and wins the first ever Drift Jam competition. We see him there drinking his beer or non-alcoholic beverage. I'm not sure what they're throwing at the guys. Josiah took second, and Frankie taking third. All in all, guys, absolutely amazing event. Had an absolute blast going out and filming this for you. If you guys do enjoy this, if you enjoy the drifting content, make sure to check out Pissnet Productions. Make sure to check out the links that are popping up on the screen now. Thank you for everybody who watched this. I hope you enjoyed it. I apologize if I screwed anybody's names up, and I apologize if I got anything wrong. It's my first time doing this. But thanks again for watching. Make sure to check out the Pissnet podcast. Make sure to check out everything on this channel, and we will catch you next time.